while, but I want to touch on something. Early when I was starting this channel, and I ain't been on here in a while because, to be honest, the stuff that I had started seeing, I'm like, ooh, this is a YouTube and all these little things became dangerous spaces for black people to talk, right? But just pertaining to the Wack 100, Luce, Big U, and Bricc Baby situation. If y'all go back about a year and a half ago, I asked a question. I said, is this where we at? Is the podcast, are they being used to infiltrate black people in the streets, right? Are they are these podcasts posing as street podcasts, but really they here to put cases on people? I'm telling y'all now, that's what I think is happening. I think that these podcasts, Adam 22 especially, was set up to get intel, and unfortunately it worked, right? I also think that people, I'm not gonna even put Bricc Baby and them out there as like they just informants, because I don't know none of that. It's kind of like, for me, I wouldn't do that. I'm just not that type of dude. So I'm not gonna put a charge on the motherfucker that ain't. But if we being real, if we talking about the conversation of the Rico and all that, if you talking about that conversation of the Rico about Big U and all that, them dudes was getting on here and literally, as far as Luce, Canon, and Bricc Baby, they was getting on, and with the help of with Wack 100 putting the battery in their back, they was getting on and they was literally saying like, hey, we was doing all this shit for Big U, woo, 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 right? I don't know what motherfuckers was expecting to happen, but if they was building the case, as you see, there was a case built. Listen, all the evidence they need is in the conversations that motherfuckers was having. But as I was stating before, was these platforms put in place for that? For motherfuckers to start running their mouth and start saying stuff and start putting that out there. It's just a crazy thing to see happen. But in my opinion, all that shit was set in place, because if you study motherfuckers, you know that people want to, the internet is a place where motherfuckers want to get clouded up. So let's look at Adam. Let's look at Adam's platform, Adam 22's platform. So far, you have Bricc Baby now, you have Luce Cannon, you have what's my nigga, Faux Extras. You have what's the other cat's name? What's the old boy name? Firefly Crip Mac. Right? All four of them is in jail, locked up. Free them dudes. All four of them is locked up. A lot of that is coming from them being on that channel. Straight up. Them being locked up, yeah, they might have said a bunch of shit, but them being given a platform to talk like they talking is what got them dudes jammed up. Who gave Adam 22 so much power over the LA black street community? I would say that the brothers down there gave him power, but he's been paying them. See, a lot of people got to understand, people go where the money is at. And especially when you think that you're in a situation where you get to kind of leave the streets alone. So these dudes was trying to, I believe, trying to leave the streets alone. But like I said, on the flip side, I don't know if they was, if they really was street dudes, was they not taught that silence is gold, right? You don't talk about your cases. You don't talk about anything like what they was talking about without thinking there's a repercussion to that. The way they were so reckless. Now, I would say the way that they was being reckless would point to them, yeah, maybe they were informants. Oh, unless the dude 600, I've been saying he was the police. I believe he's the police. You know, with Big U, I don't know his situation, so I'm not gonna condemn that black man. What I will say is this: COINTELPRO still exists. If you don't know what COINTELPRO is, do your fucking homework. But it still exists. Straight up. COINTELPRO is what took down the Black Panthers. I'm not saying nobody innocent. That's not my take. I'm not saying nobody's a rat. That's not my take. Do I believe 600 is the police? Do I believe Wack is an informant? I have my suspicions that them dudes are working with the government. They be knowing too much. They talk too much. They you know, they were on a smear campaign for Big U. I think that, you know, that in itself is kind of, you know, you can go look at what's going on and see. But yeah, nah, for sure. One thing's for certain, two things for sure. What you seeing play out right now on the internet shows how dangerous and how clout chasing this internet shit can go to the next level for you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a street motherfucker, stay your ass up off this internet talking street business, because you're going to get jammed up. This shit ain't fly. The motherfuckers interviewing black people from different hoods and man, know how to shut the fuck up. I had a partner going. One of my homeboys was on not Vlad. Excuse me. One of my homeboys was on Adam 22 one time, and I was chopping it up with him. I said, "Damn, bro, I watched your Adam interview, and you wasn't saying shit." And I said, "Bro, you was so vague about how you was coming." And he was like, "Yeah." And now I get it, because he still go by the code and the honor of the streets, right? He was so vague. It was so vague, it was a boring interview. It became boring because the way he was answering the questions. But now I feel it. I get it now. It's like, in hindsight, you know, like, let me not say too much. But see, when you're really a street motherfucker, you should know these things. You should know, like, certain things ain't for the internet. Certain things you ain't supposed to be speaking about. But as far as, like, what we seeing right now, that's why. I'm not saying I'm not saying if a motherfucker guilty of listen, the streets is gonna be the motherfucking streets. So when you play in the motherfucking streets, you're gonna get what coming with the fucking streets. That's just life. But in the situation that we seeing right now with them dudes, man, listen, you in that situation, you don't know who to trust. You don't know who the fuck to trust right now. Period. You don't. You don't know who's saying what, who's doing what. But like I said, I had brought this up about a year and a half ago. Is these podcasts propped up in around here to infiltrate the information? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people done lost their lives behind these podcasts, and not just dealing with this police shit, but even lost their lives. You know, hip hop, what's the boy named Leo Cohen? I feel Dame Dash when he be like, man, he don't care about our people. I feel the same way about Adam. He don't give a fuck about our people playing little bitch ass games like he be playing, little weak ass games. But motherfuckers go down there and still give him all that content in the name of content. You know, I come from a different time. I come from a time when you're supposed to shut the fuck up. Even though I know a lot of niggas that done told, right? I know a lot of personally know motherfuckers that done ran their mouth. I don't fuck with them. I got people I grew up in the sandbox with, won't fuck with to this day, can't call me nothing. A couple of my people just passed away. One nigga got knocked down, another nigga passed away. I wouldn't even go to their funerals because I have a code of honor when it comes to what we chose to be a part of. But on the flip side of that, like I said, man, you just, when I couldn't watch that shit no more because it was becoming a disgusting shit show, and it was becoming reckless. It was so reckless. I knew. I said, damn. But the way that they was picking at Big U, and the way that it's starting to come out now, is like that they was all trying to, like they all had something to do with it. And all this happened after Big U got into it with Wack. And then let me say this too, because I think a lot of people is not putting their eyes on this. The conversation that Wack was having prior, when he was saying that he did certain things, why is he not mentioned in any kind of criminal cases? Because I specifically remember dude saying that he got some gang members some guns and some stuff like that, right? So why he ain't being mentioned? I just don't, listen, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I think, I have my suspicions that that dude worked with the people. Ben had my suspicions with that. One thing about this street shit is that when you can't go home, it's a reason why you can't go home. If you a street motherfucker and you meet other street motherfuckers and you in the streets, the questions you ask, the things you want to know as a street person is like, where your people at? Why you here? Why you hanging over here and you got people? Where are your friends? Who can point us to who you are? Who can show us who you are so we know that you solid and that you not salad? So with Wack, from what I see, motherfuckers don't like dude. Motherfuckers don't like Wack where he's from. People can call it jealousy, but he don't got one homeboy that come from where he come from that he brings onto that podcast world with him. Not one from his neighborhood comes with him. That's a red flag if you a hood motherfucker. It's just a red flag. But my thing is this. Who put these people in charge of the politics down there? Now remember, Adam 22 started, I believe, on Melrose. You got gang members, you got all these street motherfuckers coming down here to do interviews with this white boy. Who gave him that power over the streets? And why did certain people feel so comfortable to go down there and talk certain situations? Shout out to 4 Extras, man. Free 4 Extras. He wasn't one that was going to incriminate. I peeped him and how he moved. He wasn't trying to incriminate himself. Maybe him getting jammed up was better for him now than to be caught up later. It's all, hey, man, listen, shit unfortunate. But for black people that get on that podcast, man, and get on these podcasts and get to, you know, running off at the mouth, man, y'all got to be careful, man, because you don't know who you talking to. And you don't know where your shit going to be used at. Remember, once it hits the internet, man, it don't go away. It don't go away, y'all. Y'all be easy, man. And, man, this a cold motherfucking time that we living in. Freedom dudes. Freedom black men. You know what I'm saying? And to whoever is you know, to some of you dudes out there, that this should be a big lesson. If anything, this should be a lesson. Y'all stay up off this internet talking that street shit.